Hi, everybody. It's Dr. Sasheen. Welcome back to Women in Transition. And today we are going to talk about me. I know, so strange, right? But we're going to talk about why one piece of the Women in Transition hemisphere is coming to an end. So, for those of you who follow me on the YouTube channel, you know that I put out videos, but I also put out shorts. And one of the shorts I put out is called GenXilations. So if you're new here, I'm Dr. Sasheen. I have this vlogcast called Women in Transition, where I talk to Gen X women who are in the transition period of their lives about how to move through that to get to their next best chapter and leave a lot of the stuff that's holding them back behind. If you're interested in things like that, hit like, subscribe, and share the video. Even if you're not Gen X, the messages is kind of universal, but we're in a unique place in our time. We're a unique generation, so I'm talking to us. And also stick around so that you can hear about the workshop that is happening this Saturday. Now, when I woke up, um, I knew it was time. Actually, I've known for a few days now. It was time to bring the GenXilations to a close. GenXilations was based on the fact that I used to be very heavily, a long time ago, um, let's just say I know my Bible. And so when I was thinking about way to put out kind of a Proverbs type um, message each day to Gen X women, I came up with Gen X Revelations. And I just shortened that to GenXilations. Hence, GenXilations was born. And after doing almost, gosh, there's probably about 300 of those videos at this point, those little shorts. I'll have to go back and count. What I realized is that I have reached a lot of people. Some of those shorts have done super well in terms of audience reach, but I've also attracted some audience that isn't quite the people who I think have my best interests at heart. And I'm not looking for a viral moment. I'm looking to build a community. So as I have gone through and thought about how to revamp, restart, reconfigure, what I've realized is that they no longer give me the peace that they did when I first started, when I did GenXilations 1.1. And I just posted GenXilations 9.2 just 10, 15 minutes ago. And because I cannot see myself continuing on with them in a way that brings me a measure of peace, because they never felt like work. They felt like these little nuggets that I was sharing with my community that brought them inspiration in the day or just to pick me up if they needed one. Some days they would hit people and I would never know, but some days the feedback was like, gosh, this just dropped just when I needed this kind of message. Some days I hit people with a message they didn't want to hear. And that was okay too, because I was never looking to be, everybody isn't gonna, every message isn't for everybody. I guess that's the best way to put it. And so I hope this mic is working okay. Finally got my Yeti back plugged in. So hoping between the Yeti and the Mac, I've got some good sound. Anyway, but what I've begun to realize is that it's been a struggle since about 725 to not feel as though I'm just repeating myself, um, and getting off getting off topic from the things I think that are important to women of a Gen X generation. Now, again, a lot of my message could be applied to women of the X-lineal, millennial, boomer, some boomer, kind of the Gen X boomer line. But things that are really important to women my age aren't as important to women in different eras because we're at a different place in our life. Gen X are in our middle years, we're in our middle age life. And so the things that are important to us now weren't important to our mothers when they hit their middle lives. And they may not be important to Gen Z when they hit their middle life, right? So we're kind of unique. And I want to keep speaking to us, especially because we're unique in some, excuse me, some very important ways that I think get subsumed under a lot of the myths about Gen X. And that's really the struggle for Gen X women a lot is we are forgotten until we're needed. And because of that, we don't take ourselves and put ourselves on the pedestal that we deserve, the one that we put ourselves on. All that to say, as I was looking through my notes for GenXilation, the next 10 chapters, I realized that I think I've said everything that I wanted to say in the first 10 chapters. And in fact, probably in the first 9 chapters. So though GenXilation 10 will come out, it will be the last one. And it will come out this week. Kind of coincides with the workshop, Life Reimagined, that I'm hosting this weekend, the 26th, starting at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. And you've been seeing that. You'll see a lot more this week. There are 12 slots left. It is a free webinar, a free workshop, not just a webinar, it is a workshop. It's a free workshop, but it's not designed for everyone. It's not designed for anyone. It's designed for a specific type of woman, Gen X woman, or a woman who is in the transition and stuck, whether that's because of the guilt, the mindset, the feeling like you're getting too old, you can't, whatever the case may be, you feel stuck. I have a system to get you unstuck and feel good about it. And I think that's really what's important, especially as we move into a world that is going to be post a lot of things. We want to make sure that our mental health, our physical well-being, our financial health, our social well-being, all of those things are taken care of. We may have been forgotten by other generations, but we will not continue to forget ourselves. And so into the GenXilations void, I do not know yet. I am not sure that I will fill it with anything. I have some other ideas I'd like to put out there. I'd like to do a lot more inspirational content in terms of teaching and inspiring women to take risks at this age, to take some chances at this age. I'm thinking of Kendrick Lamar in my head. I don't want to say penitentiary chances, but if that's what you need to take, that's what you need to take. Um, but I think it's important to acknowledge that the rule number one here is that our peace is non-negotiable. And my rule number one is that has to extend into all aspects of my life. And this last week has been really tough for my family. And what I realized is that I'm doing some things because I've just gotten into the habit of doing them, but they no longer bring me peace. And for some people out there, it's going to be, yeah, but you don't give up on things that are not bringing you joy just because you don't like them anymore. You know what? Yes, you do. You actually do. I do YouTube videos because I passionately believe in helping women like me get through the hurdles that are preventing them from living their best life. I help these women because I've been there. I've been a divorce coach, and I'm still in some ways a divorce coach for women who seek me out and are referred. I don't take new clients without referral. But when I talk to those women, and I help them stitch the pieces back together. I often say that we put the pieces back together, and help them find their peace. Peace has always been my motto. I do that because I've been there. I talk to women who are in career transition because I've been there. And I'm talking to women now in the Gen X generation who are like, how do I start again? Because I've been there. I've started again multiple times, and life does get hard for a period of time in the start. But man, in the end, in the lift, sometimes it takes a plane a little while to get off the ground. It takes a boat a little bit to get moving. But once we get our rhythm, we go into the stratosphere, which is why if you look at the graphics for Life Reimagined, it's a boat, because I've been saying together we will lift each other to better heights, to bigger heights. All of our boats will go together into calm and peaceful waters. And you don't have to ride on my boat. And I'm not going to ride on your boat because I happen to like my boat just the way it is. And you need to like your boat just the way it is. But together, we will regatta our way through the transitionary years and come out the other end of it into whatever's next for us, the better for having taken the journey together. So to that end, Life Reimagined feeds into my new Discord channel. There's no one in that channel yet because it is not open, but as soon as it's open, I will begin to invite people into a space where we can continue to have the conversations as Gen X women about our life as it's transitioning, about things that are important to us, about projects that we're working on or places that we're going to go visit, about the tough, gritty work of starting over again. And that's the woman that really I'm talking to today. When I set out with GenXilations, I set out with the idea that the Gen X mind is a fertile place with some really amazing experiences, skills, and observations, and that sharing that with the world would help someone. I hope that I did. But if you need more help, or you just like the wisdom of Dr. Sasheen, then I'm going to invite you to join me in Life Reimagined, which will get you entry into the Discord channel for Life Reimagined private group. That group is only going to be open to women who go through the Life Reimagined program. That program is just now getting its legs under it. I still got to work out the bugs. I've tried it on a few small groups. And so as we continue to build the community, things will grow and get smoother. And maybe one day we will all really be on that boat together, drinking some champagne or your favorite fuzzy drink, as we talk about what we're doing now that we're living for ourselves. So, coming back around to today's lesson, and that lesson is sometimes change just has to happen because you stop. Back in a very early video, I made the point to say that sometimes when you come to a crossroads, a fork in the road, or not even just a fork, but there are several paths you could take. The idea is you are on this well-worn path that you've been walking, and all of a sudden something veers down one way and it veers up and over another way, or it veers catty corner this way. And we get afraid to not stay on the well-worn path because we can see very clearly straight ahead, and straight ahead is so much easier than zigzagging, right? But I want to remind you that the place you see down there, the destination that ultimately you're trying to get to, it can be gotten from these other paths as well. Will they take you further away from it? Maybe. Will they take you there even faster? Possibly. You don't know. But that's what a fork is, right? It's a chance to say, am I good with what's happening right now? And I'm just going to keep on the well-worn path that I can see in front of me. Or do I need to tweak some things and maybe go slightly left, slightly right, slightly catacorn, maybe perpendicular, because I'm feeling the call of the wild to go in a little bit of a different direction, not giving up the destination down there, but recognizing that all roads may get me there in their own way. That is a lesson I have had to learn over the 50 some years I've been on the planet. There are all kinds of roads to get you certain places, but they all can lead to the same place if you know where you're going. And so Life Reimagined is designed to help you figure out where you're going. And then if you have to take a few detours to get there, it's a little bit easier when you know where you're going because you never lose sight of what's important. And that is your life of peace. Your life of peace. So this is the last week you will see GenXilations come out. I hope that you have enjoyed them. I have enjoyed putting them out. I'm contemplating toying with the idea of putting them into a digital, like, well, actually not even a digital, a little a coffee table book, excuse me, a coffee table book, because I happen to collect. You see this large stack of books here. It actually goes down pretty far. I collect coffee table books. I love them. I love having a beautiful book on a coffee table that people can sit down while they're waiting or watching whatever and flip through and find some joy in. And I think GenXilations might actually make a pretty good coffee table book, a pretty good gift. So I'm twirling and swirling that in my head. A beautiful book. I really, I see it as a possibility of the proverb, and then the accompanying artwork being something just beautiful. So to that end, I'd have to really work that project out. Yeah, I'd have to really work it out, and it would be a labor of love, as all of my things are. But in the putting together this last week's videos of GenXilations, I've had a lot of time to think about and look back over all of the ones that I have put out. And I have found myself content with the words that I have put out into the world. And I have found myself excited that they will live on, whether I put another one out there or not. They're always going to be there. They're shorts, YouTube, it's not going to get rid of them. Um, But I found that I feel like they carry themselves without me needing to continually pour into them. And so I think, as with all parents that have birthed something and you are watching it with its own little feet walk away from you, it is simply time to relinquish that into the world and put the GenXilations to bed. So that is what's going to happen this week. I will no longer be posting after this week the GenXilations shorts. Now, videos are not going anywhere. They're going to look a little bit different, like I said in my posts over the weekend. It's been an interesting week in our world here. I've got a lot of things I've had to think about. Some things need to change. Some things are going to change. The channel is going to look a little bit different than it has in the past. You actually should see more of me than you have. But the message is going to be much more laser focused on working with women and really talking about the things that are important to a woman in a transition of her life, because we have unique needs and perspectives, and our voice isn't as out there as I think it really, really needs to be. And in a world where there's a lot of noise, whoo, child, there's a lot of noise in the ether, clarity and clearness of focus and vision is so crucial. In fact, I was tempted to start a new series called Can We Just Take the Mic Away? Highlighting some of the egregious things that people say about Gen X and women and Black women. But then I realized there are a lot of really great voices that are already talking about that. And I want to highlight some of their work and bring those voices to my channel, that and have their message reach the women that I'm also trying to reach. So you're going to hear me talk about moving. You're going to hear me continue to talk about getting your passport. You're going to continue to hear me talk about downsizing your life to upsize your world. You're going to continue to hear me talk about not letting the noise in the system overwhelm you to the point where you can't do anything. You're going to hear me continue to talk about how Gen X isn't just the backbone that holds it all together, that we have to put ourselves on a pedestal, one where we value ourselves above everybody else. Because in some ways, we do need to take a lesson from our opposition. And that lesson can't be lack of empathy, lack of compassion, and lack of caring and concern for others. But the lesson can be, when you put yourself last, you just get the scraps. But when you fight to keep yourself first, you are more than likely going to also be bringing a whole lot of folks with you who are also putting themselves first. Selfishness is not a bad word. Selflessness is also not a bad word. But I think the extremes of both have hindered a lot of people from seeing what could be, because they're too damn focused on what is, whether that's being really, really selfless or really, really selfish. Really, really selfless, not selfless enough, or really, really selfish, not selfish enough. Selfish enough. So, deep breath. It's hard to put paid to a dream that you've been nurturing for I thought GenXilations would get to chapter 100, and here we are at chapter 10, and it feels complete, and it feels good, and it feels peaceful, and that's how it should feel. So, all that to say, thank you. Thank you so very, 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 very much for being on that part of the journey with me. I hope that you continue on this part of the journey with me. You will see shorts. They will not be GenXilation shorts, but you will see shorts coming out still. You will see videos coming out still. The Discord channel will be open this Saturday for the first cohort who goes through Life Reimagined. And in the Discord channel and in that space, I will start to go live more, because in Discord, in that community, there is a much more, how should I put this? I belong to some private communities, and when when the people who go live in those communities exclusively for us go live, the feeling is just different. It feels safer, right? If the conversation flows easier, because the trolls aren't trolling all the time, because people aren't joining those communities just to troll. They'll get kicked out pretty fast, and I'm going to be pretty hardcore about it. Like, I'm not going to let people in who don't go through the workshop, And I'm not, or well, I might. It's my community. I might invite a few folks in who I think would benefit from the community of women that I'm hoping to form there. But I'm not letting people in just for them to yuck our yum or tell us that we shouldn't be more selfish, take more trips, drink the champagne, go drink champagne in champagne, as I keep trying to tell y'all, right? I'm not gonna, I don't want people who want to come in and tell us that we're selfish for trying to lift each other to the next level of beautiful life, liveliness through the transitionary years because we need to be focused on saving the world and everything else. If you want to save the world, you're welcome to come into the group. We will help you figure out how to save the world. We'll probably even help you figure out to map the plan to save the world. But what you won't get to do is guilt us into not wanting to save your portion of the world. Because remember, and I'm going to end with this because I said I would do it for 20 minutes and that would be it. I remember this. I've said this a few times now. I'm going to keep saying it. The great people in history, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Gandhi, Mother Teresa, John F. Kennedy, so many others, so many others. The great people in history who've made the most difference didn't set out to save the world. They didn't set out to save the world. It wasn't their goal. They set out to save and change their lives, their immediate surroundings, the people in their immediate circle. And if the whole world happened to change, that was a secondary effect. Because the primary effect, the primary goal was to change the lives of the people that they lived next door to, that they lived in the same house with. And so, whatever you're focused on right now in this point of your life, please make sure that what you're trying to do is change your world for the better. Because if you do that, of course, you're going to change the rest of the world for the better. That's a given. It may not be a huge scale like a Martin Luther King, but it might. It might. It may just be your block, your neighborhood, your town. But whatever the case may be, you come into the community with me and others, just know that we've got your back and we'll help you articulate your dreams. And if in the end you choose to move forward with your dream into another space where you get more hands-on help, we will stand on the decks of our boats and we will send you away with champagne and truffles, knowing that we did our job, which was to help you bring your boat up to the next level. All right, that's it for the day. Please keep in mind that Life Reimagined is this Saturday from 11 to noon Central Standard Time. I will drop the link to register in the show notes of this channel. And yeah, it's good to be back. It's good to see everybody. Let's lift each other up. Let's keep going. And most importantly, let's protect our peace. It's Dr. Sasheen. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.